Hey everyone, the motivational professor here. Well, if you're looking at my chart, and let me jump right to the chart here, you're going to get the opportunity to see the amazing trade that we took later in the week. Last week, I put out this video on this trade. And so, what I'm going to do on this video is I'm going to break down this trade. All my videos will always have a teaching component. If you are brand new or you're not sure, I'm going to show you exactly where you should have gotten in for this trade, whether you're an aggressive trader or a conservative trader. We're going to break down this trade. We're going to see the levels, and then I'm going to give you some opportunities to trade crude oil moving into this week as well. So you definitely want to stay tuned and watch this entire video. Now, again, if you want me to continue providing quality content, I saw so many of you who said, hey, Armando, thank you. I took this trade and I made money from this trade. Thank you so much. Give me a thumbs up. Definitely like this video for me. That tells me that you're watching, and it also allows other people to see this video as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the charts. Okay, so if you watched my last video, this was our entry based on support and resistance. And so what I want to do is I want to start playing this trade, and then I'm going to stop you along the way. So you can clearly see here on the 1 hour chart that price took off. And again, this is the big candle right here. Okay, this big bullish candle. But I'm going to break this down at a smaller time frame here in just a minute to show you where you should have gotten in. Okay, and so there's a lot of things that happened there with that candle. This red candle coming back down, if you notice the wick, that took out the liquidity of this big banker's candle, what we call, and then eventually we went up and hit our first price point of 8,200. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down this same trade on the 5-minute time frame now, so you know where you could have gotten in case you did not, and you can learn for future trades as well. Where is my entry? That's the question I get all the time. Hey, Armando, I just don't know when to get in. So let's cover that now on this trading opportunity right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop this replay, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it back, and I'm going to jump to our 5-minute time frame. And what I want you to do is I want you to see this, right, where you should have really looked to get in, whether you were a conservative trader or if you were a aggressive trader. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this back. I'm going to go back to here where kind of we started. Okay, and let's let that replay happen right here. Okay, now what you're going to notice is as we start to play it, okay, price is going to come down into our zone. Okay, now this is where our first aggressive folks would have entered the trade, right? So what you see on the screen, that is where I entered, right? I was willing to take that risk, a very short risk for massive gains up. So that was my entry. But if you're a conservative trader, let me show you where you should have gotten in and why you should have gotten in. Okay, so obviously there's always a chance here that price could have come back up to this area right up here, which I'm going to mark. Okay, and it could have rejected, right? We saw resistance here, right? So this is where the conservative traders are going to be getting in. They're going to be looking for a candle to break above this area of about 79.61. So now as we begin to see price coming back, again, if you missed the trade once, you could have gotten into the trade again right here because we came back into the area. Okay, now we come back into the area a third time, and then you're going to see now this impulsive candle right here. Okay, so let me stop that right here for a minute. Once we saw this bullish candle right here, I'm going to kind of make it a little bit wider so we can see, right? That bullish candle right here, that was your cue to jump into the trade. Okay, this now, we broke this high right here. Let me grab this arrow just to show you. We broke these highs right here. This candle says, hey, we're going higher. And again, and if you watch my video, we talked about the psychological number of $82, which is this next major resistance up. So as we allow this to continue moving up, there are several times that you could have gotten into this trade. Again, this would have been another opportunity when price dipped back down into this liquidity zone. Could have been another entry or your first time getting in. And then eventually you're going to see price come back up and hit our 81, 99, 82, 100 area within our trading view chart here in just a minute. So again, this is the easiest place or the best place that you could have entered for this trade. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pause it here because again, you can see the price action. And again, if you are a newer trader, this is what you should be studying over and over. You should be looking at the price action because this does the exact same thing on any chart that you are trading. So let's jump back in and let's reevaluate crude oil. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to jump back to the 1 hour chart, okay? And I'm going to keep the replay feature just so you can kind of see what happens with the price action, right? We hit that 82 mark right there. Now, we talked about in my video that if we hit 82, we can possibly scalp 20 or 30 cents to the downside, right? We hit that 80 there. Let me just show you what 20 cents is. This is the ruler right here. If we just take this and we come down, that right there, my friends, is 35 ticks, that little move. So just with that little move alone, could have given you the opportunity to then sell crude oil, right? So we took the win up. I took 30 cents or 30 ticks down as well, coming down. And then you're going to see where then price breaks and we go up to the next level as well. Let me show you that before we jump into the full analysis on this video. And then you can just see there that price took off and hit not only our 82 level, but then hit our 82.50 level that we talked about on the video, and then hit our 83 level that we talked about. So this trade was an amazing opportunity for you to capture tons of points. Like this really, for some people, was a week's worth of trading. Had you just jumped in when we told you to buy here and just held that trade the entire way, you're talking about, over 150 points or ticks on crude oil, which is absolutely amazing. You can see it here on the screen. I always talk about just trying to grab 20 or 30 cents or 30 ticks at a time, especially if you're brand new. That's how you build a small account. You grab some $2 wins, some $40 wins, some $60 wins, whatever your lot size is, and you stack those over the course of time. And that's really what I focus in on when it comes to my YouTube membership. So again, if you're brand new, you haven't checked it out, down below, you can kind of see it scrolling there. You can click on the link in the video description, join our YouTube members area. It's for $5 a month. Yes, a month. My goal is to give back to as many people as possible. You have nothing to lose. You waste that on a cup of coffee each month and get nothing back. Meanwhile, you can jump in, get some value, and learn what we're doing to help you and your family not live paycheck to paycheck, pay for your travel, pay for your car, whatever the case may be. I help people grow small accounts and grow them larger over a course of time. Okay? Humble people, grateful people, hardworking blue-collar people that are in this group, just learning this market and making a little bit of extra money each and every day. So I hope I get to see you inside the members area. So let's jump back into the analysis now. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to clear the chart because we are going to start from scratch. Okay. So what are we looking for here moving up? Well, we can definitely see, right, as we move up that we had this massive uptick here on crude oil moving up, right? We can see that. Then we kind of broke that trend. And now we're back above this area right in here. So again, what I do 90% of my time is I like to work off support and resistance. Now, what happened here? We talked about this in a previous video as well. We came up and we knocked out this teacup. Okay, so if you've never heard of the term teacup, it's basically when price, let me grab a brush, right? We started here, we did the whole loop around, and we're back here. And then eventually what happens here is that we get a handle of a teacup. We saw it a little bit here as well. Okay, so that is kind of the teacup that we are looking at. So we are definitely going to, let me grab a rectangle, set this psychological number, right in here in this area, right, as an area of supply and demand, support and resistance. We've now come up here twice. So what is going to happen next? Well, we are going to wait for the gap. Obviously, Sunday nights, we make gaps for the most part. So I want to kind of zoom in here, right? And again, if you're paying attention, stay watching this video because I'm going to give you some key zones for you to mark up as well. So this is going to be our gap. This is where price closed on Sunday. And so what is going to happen there. So let's jump over to our 4 hour chart and let's go ahead and mark this up so you have some key areas to focus on. To do that, what I encourage everyone to do is always change your candles over to the line chart. Makes it easier for you to drop some support and resistance very easily. I'm going to show you how to do that as an extra bonus on this video. So let's go ahead and jump back into the video here. And so what you want to do is come up here and you want to go ahead and click on line. What that does, it allows me to see without all the wicks where this major area of support and resistance might be. So I'm going to grab a horizontal line and I just kind of start moving down, right? I'm looking for some major areas, right? Nothing that I can't see with the naked eye because I can always tweak these later on. I'm just looking for some major areas for my support and my resistance. I'm looking there and I've got one right there, okay? Now I'm going to kind of keep those there to the bottom side. And then I'm going to go ahead and swap this back out to our candles, right? Now you can clearly see here, just by the naked eye, I've done a pretty good job showing how this here, right, was a level of resistance and here was a level of support, right? And we can see those over and over and we can always tweak these, but these are looking pretty darn good on the 4 hour chart. Now, obviously we don't enter on the 4 hour chart. So these are some areas that we can work with. Right? And then we also know that on the top side, the psychological number of 84 is always going to be a major area. So we've kind of built our system here, and now we're waiting for price to react. Right? I believe a couple of things. I'm going to drop down to the 1 hour chart so you can kind of see how we initially have rejected this area right up in here. Right? So let's talk about some of the possibilities that may happen based on market open Sunday into Monday. So what I like to do is every 2 days do a full analysis of crude oil, and in between those days you're probably going to see some YouTube shorts, quick 1-minute videos providing this value. Now again, in our members area, we're not only giving you crude oil, we're looking at the NASDAQ, looking at some indices, we're looking at gold. So again, definitely take advantage of $5 a month to join our members area. So you not only can jump in on some trades with us, but you can also get live analysis with me once or twice a week to ask questions, break down charts, and kind of feel better about your trading as well. So let's kind of jump right back into the analysis and let's kind of take a look here at some of the possibilities. Now, when I go over to my left, right, what I'm looking for is, are there any intermediate areas of support and resistance? And I can definitely see one right here with the naked eye. So now I'm going to kind of come up and scatter this out. So now what you should be doing right here is that you should be pausing the video, okay? You should be pausing the video and you should be marking up the zones that you see here next to me, okay, on the screen. Make sure that you have these zones on your chart so that way you already have your support and resistance areas built for crude oil for the rest of the week. And then you can learn how to set alerts or create alerts if you know how to create them in these important areas of support and resistance. So as we kind of go back into the charts, I'm going to make this wider. Let me close this here, right? You can see here now that we do have an area right here, right? We've already marked it up. So the first question is, well, what is going to happen depending on the gap? Well, there's only a couple scenarios, right? We're going to either come back down here and we are going to reject and then move back up towards this area, right? And again, the way that would probably look would be to jump all the way down to the 5-minute mark. Now, when we do that, then we can tell ourselves, okay, this is what a long position would look like. Something like that, I would probably let it go down here as far as entry, taking it all the way up to 83.50. But if it breaks this low right here, okay, it's going to go the opposite direction, okay? So we're probably looking at something like this. If you want to be a little bit tighter, maybe this low right here would be better. And then you can kind of try to take it all the way up to about 83.50, right? That's kind of what a buying opportunity would look like if we do not gap on Sunday evening. So again, that really is going to be the key. If we have a huge gap, that voids out this possible scalping opportunity. And again, we're looking for 20 to 30 ticks at a time. Scalp, cash out, and build your account that way as well. So let's jump back in to the analysis. So that is one scenario. Let's say that we gap up to the top side. We open up a huge gap and we're up here. Let's make this green, okay? Let's say that we gap up here. Well, then that changes the scenario. Now we're going to look to take a short from here back down to our gap, okay? And we're going to look for a area that we could definitely see. So again, we're not going to want to risk too much up here. Something like this would work. That still gives us a good, 2-to-1, almost 3-to-1 ratio. Yeah, a 2.5-to-1 ratio like this. This is only if we gap up this high. Okay, this is only, I'm going to put it here, right? Only if we gap this high, which again, we don't know where it's going to gap, but that's the scenario if we happen to gap this high right up here. Okay, and vice versa. If we gap down here somewhere, and I'll keep that red, then we're just going to invert it. We know we have an area of support and resistance here. Then this would become a long position, something like this, back up to our gap, a very tight stop loss. Let's move that here, right? Possibly below. We don't want to risk too much here, right? Something like this on the stop loss. And again, this is only, same thing, only if we gap down. Okay, so this is only going to be if we gap down in this area here. So what you have here on this chart is that you have a couple of different opportunities to trade depending on what happens with the gap. Now, if you've never traded the gap, don't trade the gap, right? If there's only a couple of points, I don't trade the gap. There's really got to be 30 or 40 ticks in either direction for me to trade the gap. Then it's worth it with a very small lot size because gaps don't always close within a few minutes or hours. Sometimes it can take a day or two to close. And so again, you don't want to over leverage on the gaps. You want to go under leverage so you can stay in the game. And we'll be doing a video on leveraging as well coming up in the next few weeks. Our members area will be getting all this information as well much faster than those who are not in our members area. So these are kind of our scenarios going into Sunday. Hopefully you got some value. Hopefully you marked down the zones. And again, I want to hear from you. If you have any questions about what you saw here, anything we covered on the charts, anything you don't understand, then I definitely want you to ask the questions down below in the open comments area, and I will get back to you within 24 hours. Again, if you're in my members group, then you and I are chatting each and every day, and you're getting your questions answered pretty much in real time as well. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Again, sharing is caring. If you found some value in this video and you want to help somebody else out, just like maybe somebody shared a video with you, hit that share button and let somebody else watch this video as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on our next crude oil analysis video.